School therapists are, their therapy focus is to make sure that your child can function at the same level as all of their peers in the classroom.
You mentioned when we were talking about curriculum therapy, and I know that there are different kinds of therapy options for kids who have specialized learning needs. Talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so a lot of parents feel very intimidated because they see therapists as professionals,
Hmm.
and therefore I need to seek out somebody who is a professional so that my child can get therapy services.
Right.
So, yes and no. I would really say pray about it. You don't need therapy on an ongoing basis most of the time. Sometimes you need a therapist to come alongside you when your child is at a stopping point, just to maybe help you to figure out what exactly are we dealing with.
Mhm.
And then there are different kinds of therapists. Of course, there's occupational therapists, physical therapists, speech therapists. There's also what we call an educational therapist. And
Okay.
educational therapists are kind of trained more to help students with their learning needs, but they also are usually trained to train a parent to help their child with that. So if you want to take on some of that load, and you feel like, well, I could kind of do this. Maybe I see what these therapists do with them. I want to try it myself. You can work with an educational therapist, or even on our website, we have links to free sites written by professional therapists that are written in verbiage and language so that parents can actually use their resources. Because a lot of times, a lot of these like OTs, PTs, SLPs, they write for other therapists to use, but there are a few select ones that actually write them for parents. And so we love pointing parents to those resources because they're free,
Yeah.
and you are equipped to do this. And the more that you continually do these therapy services in your home on a regular basis versus taking your child once a week to therapy, actually they're more effective
Yeah.
because your child is constantly being reminded of these different things that they need to work on instead of just once a week get it for an hour.
Yeah. It's so interesting that we live in the world that we live in because it used to be where you didn't have any. Well, it used to be you didn't have any options for therapy. And then
Hmm.
it was where you had only the options for the professionals to be able to help with therapy. But now, you are able to offer some resources to parents. And there are resources, I would imagine, even on YouTube, like you guys have a YouTube channel. I
Yes,
don't
so
know
I
how much you do
interview a
with
lot
therapy
of
there,
yes, I
but
interview a lot of different experts. That's
yeah.
what's my broadcast every week because we focus on a different topic every month. And I've interviewed a lot of therapists on there, and they go into specifics on how
Yeah.
to help your children with speech issues, handwriting issues, a plethora of things, sensory issues. We've covered it all. And so yes, there's so many good resources there. Just do a search.
Yeah.
But I want to also attack this thing that parents say, but the school's set up to do such a good job. And I want to warn you, if you think that, okay, well, I'm going to use this free service that the school offers, here is why we really recommend against it, is because school therapists are, their therapy focus is to make sure that your child can function at the same level as all of their peers in the classroom.
Mm,
That is their goal. Their goal is not that your child will be successful,
right.
that they will keep improving in their therapy goals. No, when they get to that standard level, then we're done with them. And we're not going to talk to you, mom or dad, either, because they're not trained to do that. They only see your child and then they push them out the door again. I'm going to share a quick little story because
Yeah.
this really gets to this point. I had a mom call me and say, "My son's been doing occupational therapy at the public school, and they said he just graduated, but he has so many more occupational therapy needs." And I said, "Well, what is he doing right now?" And she said, "Well, they were training him how to get on and off a bus because well, of course, kids need to take a bus to school. But the problem was he never took the bus to the school. His mom drove him there
Oh my.
and did, to the occupational therapy. He then learned how to get on and off a bus, and then she drove him home.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what else does he do that may be helpful with his, body movement? Because that's what occupational therapy. She goes, well, he does Taekwondo every week. And I said, that's your occupational therapy.
Right. Wow.
So, so think about what are my end goals with my child? Not just that we need therapy so that it looks like it should look in the school.
Mm-hmm.
Your goal is to develop your child into a productive citizen
Mm-hmm.
in the world we live in, and to live out God's goal for their life.
Yeah.
Pursue that. Don't pursue a therapeutic standard.
Yeah. Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.